When I get asked, Paul, what do you do? My answer is very simple. I solve sales problems, period.
Alright guys, it's a beautiful day here in El Paso, Texas. I'm going to share a little tip with you for your entrepreneurs, small business owner, and even some salespeople. Here's one thing that I've learned to do in this fast-paced environment, this world today, where nobody likes to think, everybody likes things quick, nobody likes to take their time, everybody wants quick success. But here's what you got to do. Go back to fundamentals. You have to starve out any and all of your distractions. Whatever that may be and whoever it may be, you need to starve it out, get rid of it, and don't participate in it. Now, that's getting rid of that. Now you have to replace it with something, right? So if you're starving something out, you have to replace it with something, right? So here's what you need to do. You need to feed your focus. Because if you're feeding your focus, then the distractions will be starved out, right? Does that make sense? So these are very simple, fundamental things. But unfortunately, fundamentals are not being talked about, discussed, or implemented today. Everything's about getting rich, quick rich schemes. Here's the last thing I'm going to share with you. The third part to that is, once you starve out your distractions, you're feeding your focus, whatever that focus is. Now you have to be disciplined in your way of doing things every single day, so that you could produce the results you want by taking the right actions through that discipline. Does that make sense? So starve out your distractions, feed your focus, and be disciplined to taking the right actions, and watch you produce better results. That's my tip for you guys. I hope it's been helpful. I'm taking a nice walk because it's beautiful out here in El Paso. It's sunny, and I'm going to take me an early lunch. Anyway, talk to you later, guys. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Alright, guys. Welcome to step number 4. Before we talk about step number 4, I hope you guys really understand step number 1, 2, and 3, how valuable, important it is to do these 3 steps. Because if not, step number 4 is irrelevant, or it will be the wrong thing to do, or you will go about it the wrong way. So before we finish step number 4, if you're watching this on my channel, do me a favor, smash that like button. Share your comments and your thoughts. Also, tap that subscription button so that you could be aware of the new videos that are coming to you soon. Alright, guys. Now, step number 4 is this. If you did step number 1, where you identify the problem for your prospect, right? Then you isolate it so that it doesn't get worse for your prospect, right? And you have real solutions. Now you're ready for step number 4. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you'll know how good you really are, not only as a salesperson and a closer, but that you can really develop that relationship where you could produce the results. So step number 4 is taking massive action. That's right. Why do I use the word massive? Because massive is the right word. Okay? Because here's the thing is, one thing I've learned a long time ago, the way you train is the way you're gonna perform. Right? if you're training wrong and you're practicing wrong, how can you expect to produce the right way, right? Because there's a saying in business, practice makes perfect. I disagree with that. It's the perfect practice or the perfect preparation will lead and produce the right results, right? So if you're not prepared to take a call to action to the prospects, why even do it? Think about it. Why even take an action if you're not even prepared for battle or for producing the results that you should produce, right? So for example, for me, I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, etc. Those are just titles. But at the end, what is it that I do? I solve sales problems, period. My company, Paul Cruz Sales Agency, where sales happen. Very simple. But I'm a closer. And what I do is whenever I make a phone call or I take the initial call to prospect, I'm always ready. Always. I'm always prepared. Why? Because I understand what they need. I understand the value that I have. And I don't take those things for granted. Does that make sense? So, step number 4 is taking massive action, but more importantly, taking the right action based upon the preparation that you did in step number 1, 2, and 3. Now that you know my 4 secret weapons, or my favorite weapons that I use to produce more sales, I hope you really take it serious. I hope you implement these strategies, because if you do, here's what's going to happen. Number 1 is you're going to get a higher engagement. Number 2, you're going to produce a higher conversion ratio. And if you have a higher conversion ratio, which means you're going to grow your sales, right? And if you're doing it consistently, growing your sales, right, you're going to increase your cash flow, right? Just think about it. And if you're increasing your cash flow every single month consistently, you're going to multiply your annual revenue, right? Not only yours, but your clients now, right? And then here's the thing is, because it doesn't take money to do this, you're going to produce higher profit margins for your business. How do you like those bananas and apples? Pretty good, right? Those are the fruits. Those are the results, or that is the result of taking these 4 steps very serious, applying them, making them part of who you are, being prepared for the initial contact. And if you can do that consistently, watch your value increase and watch your sales grow. Have a fantastic All right, guys, check it out. Selling is a mindset and closing is an attitude. Let me explain the difference. You see, selling is the salesperson. They tell the story, they set the tone, right? They get people excited, they get people engaged. Does that make sense? Now the closer understands resistance. They understand obstacles. They understand transitions and adjustments. And a closer understands the end game, which means they understand the battle in front of them and they stick to the process to allow them to close the deal. Now, you could have good salespeople that could tell stories but can't close. So that's why I say selling is a mindset and closing is an attitude, because at the end of the day, you can tell all the good story you want. If you overtalk a sale, or you don't know how to deal with objections or buying questions, you can absolutely lose the sale. So that's why closing is an attitude, because selling is the preparation, setting the tone, building the bridge, And then the closer is the attitude, is the action to the mindset. One complements the other. If you have a good selling strategy and you can tell good stories, but you don't have the right action, it's not going to work. That's why I always say the mindset will dictate the attitude. Like cause and effects, you know what I mean? So you got to really think about that. So, there's a lot to being a closer. I'm trying to make it simple, but there's a lot of variables that take place to become a consistent closer. Now, I always preach being a salesperson, because you can't be a closer unless you understand how to sell and how to be a professional salesman, a dynamic salesman, so that you can become a very powerful closer. You see what I'm saying? So that's the way I do things. That's my tip for the day for you guys. I hope it's been helpful to you guys. If you're watching this on my channel, do me a favor, hit the subscription button below, share your comments, share your thoughts. I'm going for a walk right now, and let me know what you think. So we speak again. I say goodbye, and remember this: selling is a mindset, and closing is the attitude. Talk to you later. The most valuable skill you can learn is to become a dynamic, powerful, and exciting sales person.